Twani and Brian playing some at the point. Who's kind of at the 2 right now? Riley?
No, Riley and Jalen's are 2 guys got to play that 2 for us. Those guys, basically are 2 twos. I mean, they're not a guy can swing 1 or any of that. They're 2s, and they've got to be able to step up. As I've said from Riley, being a senior, he's got to step up and play a different role. Jalen's a freshman, and it's just a learning curve for him. But I like where he's at. And again, he's going to be put in a role here early that he's got to step up and help us.
You foresee a lot of rotating going on at exhibition games Saturday, see what mixes and matches there.
There'll be a lot of rotating going on in every game, seeing what mixes and matches, and until we can figure it all out, what functions the best, how it functions the best, and it's so different without, it's very obvious. D, you watch the scrimmage, you understand what D does to your team out there, how much better he makes you in every way. But we got to find other ways, though, in the meantime, to make it work without him, because without him for those 15 games or 14, whatever it is. So it's going to be a situation that we'll continue to mix and match. And I ain't worried about who starts. You guys know that. I don't need to start my best team and that. But, we'll just try to keep playing these games, keep trying to figure it out, and keep trying to get better through this stretch.
Rick, what are you looking for early on in the season from these guys before you get D, before you get to sit back? You mentioned you're not worried about the starters. What do you want to see from the guys who are playing early on?
I mean, it's very obvious. I mean, the thing that's got to be constant, you got to defend. We got to defend and rebound better. We got to defend that basketball better. I mean, Twani as a point guard has got to stop that ball as a point. That's where it starts at. So we got to defend as a unit better. And again, without Jarvis back there. And, Elgin right now, you've seen his mobility. His lateral mobility is just okay. We've got to continue to find ways to get better in that area too.
How much has it helped in practice? Obviously, last year you were without a lot of guys at the 3 spot. Sean being able to push Ray and Wendell being able to, and Elgin being able to push Sid. What's that created the atmosphere in practice?
Well, we've had good competition in practice. I mean, I think it's very obvious Sean's much better for us. Even though he wasn't able to practice much last year, just being around, being a year older and a year more mature, it's helped him a lot. And he's taken one phase of his game and really improved on it. I mean, he's shooting that basketball so much better. Wendell, he's better for us. Again, I've said many times, last year he wasn't ready for what we expected from him. This year we're going to need the same thing. I think he's more prepared for it, and he'll be better at it. And he's got to step up and give us more.
More than 5 this year?
Naturally it's easier for him at the 5. We understand that. It's less learning curve at the 5. But we need some other depth in some other areas, and he's a guy we got to continue to try to develop somehow to see if we can develop some minutes and steal some minutes from him at the 4 spot.
Rick, can you talk about how critical it'll be just early on, especially with trying to get Cody and Rayburn to affect the game other than the 3-point line?
Well, that's what they got to be able to do. They've got to be able to change it, and particularly when you don't have a D and Barry, Stewart, and Jarvis around that. But there's more emphasis put on that right there. And again, we're trying to figure out, point guard and 5 spot where Elgin is, and those guys got to find ways to not just do what they did last year, try to make shots. They got to affect it in different ways. And Ray did put the ball on the floor and get it to the rim, shot a lot of mid-range shots. He's got to continue to do that and not depend on that 3-point shot. Cody's got to do more of a job of just catching, score other ways, start shooting threes. He's got to be able to do that. He's got to get the offensive board some. We got to give him the block and got to post him up. If he can't figure out how he's got to do it, then we got to help him realize and see it.
What do you, Jalen? You compared him to Barry Stewart, with his shooting and his defense, and how easily has that translated for him to this level?
He's been easy for us as coaches. He's not a guy that I have to zero in on a whole lot every day. He seems to pick up. He seems to catch things well, and again, going through 2 days is a challenge for any freshman. And for the most part, he held up. Besides the 2 nights, he had to go to the hospital for cramps and get IVs put in. I think it's 2 different times he went to the hospital for IVs.
During 2 days?
During 2 days. Yes, twice for him. But he picks up well. He's a tough kid. I think as this goes on now, he'll get worse before he gets better because he's having to think. I think he'll start settling in and start reacting a little bit more than thinking so much.
Describe Brian Bryant's game, and who does he kind of remind you of?
Just does a little bit of everything. I don't know if anything one particular area he's best at, except he's a great teammate. I think he does all the little things that gives you a chance to win. And I think he has the ability to do a lot of different things out there. I think he shoots it just well enough that you got to guard him. I think he's got a good mid-range game. He can put it on the floor and get it to the rim athletically. He can put it on the floor and, make passes off the bounce. And I think defensively he's continued to get better for us. But I think he's got an overall round game, a very well-rounded game. I think he's a very good rebounder. Defensive rebounder, can get off the rim and start that break. But again, I think most important, I think he's a great teammate. He's one of those guys that just does a lot of different things to help you win.
Coach, this has been one of the busiest off seasons for you, if you can even call it an off season. As you're finally getting ready to play a game, are you excited, nervous? What are your emotions for finally having something to do on the court?
Like I've said many a time, hey, this is the time of year we like as coaches. I know where I'm at every day. I'm going to be on that practice floor out there every day, or 3 or 3:30. It's from March to October. We don't know where we're at every day. So, we're coaches. This is what we enjoy doing, coaching. And it's different every year. Putting together a different group of guys, different group of players, experienced ages are different. And this year is even more different, without some of your players early. So, hey, as always, I've said many times, if you're not excited this time of year, then you're probably in the wrong profession. Hey, hope you guys are excited. You're not getting nervous, are you? No? Be excited. Be excited.
Coach, can you talk about how Riley is different from last year, especially early on last year? It just seems like his confidence is just at a different level.
Well, you hope it would be. He's a senior. It's his last time around, and I think he's kind of just sat back in Barry Stewart's shadow for 3 years, and they were good friends. Probably didn't, and it's his personality too. Not to be too assertive or too aggressive, but this team needs it. He's a guy that he's a smart player. Defensively, he's in the right position most of the time. He's a guy who makes the extra pass offensively, sees next play happening before it happens. We need more of that. Barry Stewart gave us that. Gave us that. But we're trying right now. Who can see next play happen before it happens? And right now, we're working on that in several areas.
How much do you play Renardo in the exhibition?
We'll figure it out. I'm not going in this thing thinking I got my main objective is not going in this exhibition playing worrying about Sydney. I can promise you. Will he play? We'll see as it comes. When's our exhibition? Saturday. We'll see where it is. But hey, we got, like I've said, we got 9 other games played before we can get him, and we got to get some of these other guys right. Will he play Saturday? We haven't talked about it a lot, but I haven't said, I'm not saying no one, and him more D. I think both of them are eligible to play, so we'll probably play him somewhere along the way, probably.
Mike, got quick. Fish fighting?
Wish I knew. Jim, where you been, man? How are you? I'd seen you. You good? Question? You got it? Well, you got us to it. Dave, what you got? Come on, give me a question.
After the scrimmage,
You talked about the frustrations Renardo had and all that. He said all these
Who
things.
talked about it? I didn't talk about it.
other people, he was
Okay.
talking about his own
Frustrations.
Okay.
And when you were watching over there, the way he would respond just vocally or showing his frustration, did you actually like that because it shows he expects more of himself than that?
Well, no, I think it's just his immaturity. He's got to grow through, man. Just remember, he's never had no accountability anywhere in his life from a standpoint of, understand how hard you have to work. This game, it's, and that's the part he's got to realize, how hard you have to work every day to be able to get better. You can't just turn it on, turn it off. You got to do it every day in practice, so when you do turn it on at another level, it don't take so long. You can play more than a few trips. It's going to be a process now. And again, y'all remember I told you just a month. Don't expect too much out of him so early, so soon. There's a big learning curve with him. And the sooner he can learn it and accept what he's got to do, the better he'll become for us. And hopefully Saturday, maybe that light came on a little bit for him. That he did get frustrated because he wasn't very productive in his own mind. As long as he channels that the right way and use it to make himself better, I think it's good.
Is the worst thing you can do hit
a couple perimeter shots, because he seems to want to stay out there after that and not go to the block.
Well, I don't know about hit a couple. We'll get all that worked out where he needs to go. I can promise you that. So he has the ability to make some shots, but hey, that's not where his bread and butter is going to be at. I promise you that. And we'll make sure he understands that part of it.
Because Wendell changed his game since he arrived here, because he said that you'd get on him last year about being a little soft and being a little too finesse. It seemed like he was rebounding and dunking the basketball. And
Did you say I'm not on him this year?
No, he said he was still on him, but he just said he's gotten a little better at it.
He has gotten a little better. I'm probably on him a little bit less this year, because he has gotten a little better at it. Is he where we need him to be? No. Right. But he's making progress. Wendell's he's a really good kid. He tries to do what you ask him to do. And I think the biggest thing with him is playing that toughness and that energy level and use what you got. You know, he's got a great body. He's got great athleticism. Well, neither one of those things ain't good unless you can use them. How to use that athleticism you got? Well, you got to run people in transition, out quick them in a half-court motion, but ball screening and rolling, those kind of things. You know, naturally, he doesn't see always next play happening before it happens. That's okay. He'll get better at that. But the biggest thing is just play with that energy and that toughness that you got to be able to play with and utilize what you got right there, because he's got a great body and he's got a lot of athleticism. He's probably the quickest and most, there's not any question about this, he is the quickest and the most athletic big guy we have, running and jumping, and there's not even close.
So, all right, your 4 notes for this. Rick's 255 wins, ranked 14th all-time in SEC history. Our 5 divisional titles since 98-99 are the most in the SEC. Our wins in that time frame are the most in the West, and they're 4th overall. 2 o'clock Saturday.
Well, you guys, all right.